whole variety of comments post-match over the weekend, not least from Roberto De Zerbi, because after Brighton and Sheffield United did their stuff, De Zerbi spoke out, and it was a bit strange, some of his material post-match.
I'm honest and clear. I don't like the 80% of England referee, but it's not a new thing, no, because I don't like them. I don't like their behavior on the pitch. No.
He doesn't like English referees, 80% of them, Martin. Of course, that comes hot in the heels of what happened on the pitch. Brighton went down to 10 men. De Zerbi himself got a yellow card for complaints to the fourth official. He says, I don't like 80% of the English referees. Not for me. It's not a new thing. I don't like them.
Well, I saw the interview, and he was looking up into the air, I think, into the clouds, I think, for inspiration to find out, shall I go 80%? Shall I go 65%? Shall I go 53.25%? I think that was the point. So he plucked this 80% out of the air. I mean, this time last week, I was in full support of Arteta's rant in the sense that that I thought that he had a point. Not in the three issues, but the one where the goal should have been disallowed, as far as I'm concerned, was on the second one when the push took place. Okay, and in the heat of the moment, I've done it before myself, and therefore, I cannot be condemning something that I did myself. Not that that matters a great deal. However, I thought in the heat of the moment he had a point to do it. Then we thought maybe he's carried it on too far, and that's it. Here's the point: the referees have a really difficult job. The interesting thing about De Zerbi, he actually agreed with the sending off. This was the crazy thing about it. He's actually agreed with it. And then he said, well, I don't like 80% of the referees. I just don't know where we're going with this, really, because the referees have an incredibly difficult job, and we managers are not helping that situation at all.
And are you including Arteta in that now? Now you've had time to reflect.
No, not the run, the immediacy of your interview afterwards. You're inclined to say something and you feel it, and this is what you feel.
Is that honestly true, though, man? You can't gather your thoughts for a few moments.
Wait a minute. That's difficult. It's particularly when you think that there has been a miscarriage of justice. That's amazing to talk about a game of football. But let's get it clear. But let's say an injustice has. And it's cost you the game in that sense, then absolutely you're going to be riled. And it doesn't really matter. And you might gather your thoughts halfway down the corridor, but by the time that you get up there, you're ranting again. You're going for it. And I thought that was absolutely fine, and I'll still stick by it. And I bet.
So you're having Arteta, but not having De Zerbi?
No. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said I was having that part of it. But there was a continuation. When he did say, Simon pulled me on it, and it's quite right, he did say that there were three elements of it, and two of them were disputable. The one that I didn't think was disputable at all was the one where it should have been disallowed. That was the point, and hence it cost him the game. That was my point. Forget about the rest of it. I'm not sticking up for Arteta and then saying De Zerbi's wrong. What I'm saying is that particular instance. But De Zerbi, I couldn't get the point because he was saying that the referee was right to send the player off. But then he said, well, as I say, he plucked something out of the air from 80%.
I mean, it seems to me, I don't think De Zerbi in the cold light of day believes what he said post-match. I don't think he thinks. I don't like 80% of the English referees.
If you ask him a question, do you mean what you say and say what you mean in a different context? I'm pretty sure he'd say yes, I do. So we'll have him on this and say that this is what he means. Right? That it's not the case of managers. If you're going to do an interview with a manager after a game, and one of the subject matters is going to be about refereeing decisions that have been controversial doing it, then it has to be priced in that there's going to be, or baked into the conversation, or baked into the tolerance that the various authorities have, that there's going to be an element of dissent in that. It's how far that dissent goes. Where that dissent doesn't go, or shouldn't be allowed to go, is to turn around and say that our refereeing standards are substandard to the rest of Europe. Because you don't have any empirical evidence to support that. You're not managing in any of those leagues. Yeah. You're just making assertions. You can't really have a grown-up manager turn around and say, I don't like 80% of English referees. Right? Well, have you encountered 80% of English referees? And why are you making this statement specifically on the back of a situation where, in fact, the issue of controversy is one that you agree with? I think it's ridiculous. And again, I go to the points, which is this is not really about singling out referees. This is about singling out the authority that officialdom is trying to reclaim in the game.
Yeah.
And there is a resistance. And this ridiculous notion that you want this quango passing as the League Managers Association to come in and arbitrate any sort of discussion about what's going to be done and what's not going to be done with refereeing. Howard Webb needs to put his foot down. We don't need your input. We don't need your direction. We don't need your values. What we need you to do is do your job, get your players in line, stop allowing players to behave in a certain way, and we'll clear up our act if there's problems in our acts.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Martin, where do you stand on Pochettino? Because he issued an apology to Anthony Taylor after his full-time outburst on the pitch after the game at Stamford Bridge against City. This was Poch.
I need to apologize to Anthony and the referees and for official because in this moment I feel that maybe Rain can go through and go to score, the fifth. I deserve to be booked, because yes, I crossed the limit, but I want to apologize because it's not good image for me and for football, this type of behavior.
So he thought Raheem was well on his way to going through and making it 5-4 in the dying moments, and what do you know, Taylor blows up. It's over. So he's apologising, so we can put all that down to emotion. That's just another manager being emotional.
Just that part of the interview only supported my theory. Was that I thought he did that for show in the first place, and then he's realised what he's done, and he seems a really decent man. I don't know him at all, but he seems a really decent man, and he wanted to apologise because he felt as if to say that his behaviour at that particular second was out of order, and that was the point, and I accept that. So again, getting back to the point, he went up there for I thought for show to. By the way, in terms of the incident, it's not up to him when the referee blows the whistle. At the end of the day, it's the referee blew it at that particular time. Chelsea had miles to go to score. They scored 4, so you might have thought, well, maybe we could get one, but it's not. They had miles to go before they got the goal. He did that in the spur of the moment, and he apologised afterwards, which was and if Anthony Taylor has accepted the apology, that's fine.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.